Welcome to another story presentation from Read Me a Story Inc., located on the web at readmeastoryinc.com. The Spell Singer by Anna Lewins. I can't read it. Katie winced up at the faces. Embarrassed, pitying, bored faces. I'm sorry, Mrs. Batsleer. I can't make the words keep still. If the spell goes wrong, she shuddered. I don't know what might happen. 50 girls sighed together, and Mrs. Batsleer sank deeper into her chair. Behind her, the school motto glittered in gold on old stone. Our magic can move the stars. Katherine, please try. One word at a time, like Miss Henbane showed you. She smiled encouragement. Follow your finger, remember. Please try, Katherine. I want everyone to have a chance at this. We'll all duck, and you can read what you think it says. I'll worry about the spell going wrong. The 50 girls stopped sighing and began to shuffle in the direction of the hall doors. A Batsleer frown stopped them. When Mrs. Batsleer frowned and stretched her bat's wings behind her, no one dared move. She could fly faster than any broom in the school. No way out, then. Katie licked her lips, dragged her finger along the giggling mess of letters, and started to read the dragon spell. I call thee now. Come, come. So far, so easy. Dragon, come give thy fire. It had to say that anyway. That was what they wanted. Now the spell words. Hin, Keter, Monty, Pesto! The wrong words! The wrong spell! Mrs. Batsleer yelped as blackbirds clattered out of the trophy cupboard. Close the hall doors! Don't let them out! Cante bellos! Blackbirds swooped under the high hall roof, darting between the wooden beams. Cante bellos! Flapping, feathers falling, and a metal echo when the second spell caught them from behind. A hail of silver cups bounced on the hall floor, black wings twitching back to curved handles. The potion trophy was luckier. It escaped, a blackbird with a silver beak swinging over the bicycle shed to freedom. Katie's finger ached and glued itself to the paper, but she had to go on. Fire the gift, fire the luck, dona Etty. She blinked and looked into Mrs. Batsleer's eyes. Flump? Oh, no! Mrs. Batsleer leapt up in a jumble of wing and long skirts. Girls screamed as their headmistress's chair groaned into a dinosaur. Small head, big eyes, neck like a python, and a tail that reached to the far side of the hall. The dinosaur lumbered backwards, and its roar of alarm rattled the windows. Don't panic, girls. He won't hurt us. She hovered above its long neck. I hope. Katherine, dear, I think you'd better stop. We can't really afford to lose any more furniture. Go back to your place. She managed a hollow smile. You tried very hard. Somehow Katie forced a shaky nod, but her lips could not smile. At the side of the hall, several girls rolled their eyes scornfully, and she made herself look at them until they stopped. Other girls picked themselves up, white with shock. She had really frightened them this time. Head down, she slid into the front line and hoped that none of her friends tried to cheer her up. That always made it worse. Mrs. Batsleer and the dinosaur studied each other. As dinosaurs go, it seemed quite harmless. Bits of chewed grass hung from its mouth, so Mrs. Batsleer decided that it was vegetarian and settled on its warm back. Now, has everyone read the spell? I haven't missed anyone. Good. She patted the dinosaur's neck. In that case, assembly dismissed. We'll meet here at 3 this afternoon and go to the dragon's cave together. I don't have to tell you girls how important it is that one of you calls the dragon. She did not say, if none of you can, the school closes, the town's luck leaks away, something terrible happens. But everyone knew what she meant. Her glossy wings folded too flat, and they only did that when she was very, very worried. Whispering and pulling faces, the girls trooped into the corridor. Katie followed too fast and slid to a halt, Janice Parker's long back right in front of her face. Honestly, she's a real Dumbo, Janice sniggered, remembering the blackbirds. I don't know why Betty lets her stay here. I mean, if she can't spell words, how's she going to spell magic? One of these days she's going to do something really stupid. That dinosaur might have been a meat-eater. We might have been its next meal. Janice's 3 friends gulped embarrassment, glancing at Katie and away. They coughed and twitched their noses at Janice to stop her, but Janice didn't take any notice. She never took notice of anyone. And Louise says Dumbo's dad's always behind on her school bills. If I were Batty, I'd throw her out. With no space to walk around Janice's big feet, Katie had no choice. She touched the girl's shoulder. Excuse me, Janice. Janice's mouth fell open, and Katie smiled and squeezed past her. When she had turned the corner and was out of sight, she put her head down and ran. It wasn't fair. She could read, maybe not easily, but Miss Henbane's lessons had helped her to put letters into words. Now letters played their games with her, but she was ready for them and fought back. A B might try to look like a D, and double letters wriggled from side to side and pretended to be triples. Or the same word made a different shape every time she squinted down at the paper. And then she sometimes saw the words well enough, but said them back to front anyway. She had called Mary Helen Harry Mellon. Oh yes, Katie could read, but when the whole class watched, she could not stop the letters dancing, and everyone waited for her to be stupid and turn the floor into treacle. Being dyslexic was hard enough. Being a dyslexic witch was horrible. Mr. Mears heard her run around the gravel path to the herb garden, and his flock of starlings stopped weeding to watch. The crows, replanting the lettuces, croaked a hello. Maybe she had wanted to come here. Katie was not sure, but she was suddenly glad to see Mr. Mears and his birds. Hello, crows! She rubbed her nose hard and grinned at Mr. Mears' hat. A pair of sparrows had nested in Mr. Mears' hat for as long as anyone could remember. Bits of twig and white globs of droppings smothered the old felt. The baby sparrows had just started to fly. One missed and landed on Mr. Mears' nose. Its sharp claws dug into his nostrils, and his eyes watered, but he did not mind. Mr. Mears, Katie fought to get her breath back. Did you hear what I did? Everyone heard, like a brass band in a jam jar. He shook his head, careful not to upset the baby bird. Dinosaurs. It'll be pterodactyl thingies next. You're dead risky to have around. I know, Katie's grin crumpled, but I've got to keep trying, even if they say I'm stupid. She shuddered and dug her chin into her chest so that he wouldn't notice. I'm not stupid. I know I'm not. If I could remember them, I wouldn't have to read them. As Mr. Mears turned to his starlings, and they gave him a knowing look. Remember, is it? And what about the rule thingy, about how many words it's safe to remember? If you're after spelling up a dragon, you'd better not say the wrong thing. Oh, I wish the tourist hadn't sneezed. Katie bit her lip. Stupid man. Why couldn't he put his hand in front of his mouth? He sneezed the flame right out. It's been there for years and years. Mr. Mears humphed a laugh. and a sneeze blows it out." Everyone knew the old story. 100 years ago the town had had a run of bad luck. Trees falling through roofs, floods in summer, plagues of monster insects. They had blamed the witch school for letting unluck escape from a spell lesson. After a terrible council meeting, when some people had wanted to tear the school down, the mayor had ordered the school to put the town's luck back or leave. None of the teachers had known what to do, and they had got ready to evacuate the school. Then one of the youngest girls had had an idea. A brave, dangerous idea. She had crawled into the cave on the hill and asked the cave dragon for some of its fire. To everyone's amazement, the dragon had not eaten her. It had given her fire, and she had carried it in her sock to the town hall. As long as the green flame burned, the town let the school stay on, rent-free, and enjoyed good luck. Now the flame was dead. If it was not burning again in a day and a night, the people would close the school, and the girls would have to go home half-taught. That meant that they would never be allowed to be real witches. "Well, fancy your chances, then." Mr. Mears watched her, guessing her thoughts. "Even if you could remember a spell that long. Well, dragons aren't what you'd call friendly. The one in the cave's in the middle of his 5-year nap, and that makes them really snappy. It might not want to lend you its fire." "If I can't say the spell, I'll never know, will I?" Katie's throat hurt, and she looked away. "I wish I could read like everyone else." "I used to think that myself." He prodded the sparrow back on his hat, waiting until it scrambled over the twigs and settled. "I've never managed to read at all, you know. That's how I lost my wizard's license. I got one spell too many wrong. Turned the victor into a shmoo. People didn't like that very much." "Mr. Mears!" Katie gazed at him horrified. "You lost a wizard's license? I didn't know." "Not many people do." "But all this, you're a magic gardener." She pointed to the weedless rows of vegetables, the prize-winning fruit. "You know all the garden spells, and some of those are pages long. If you can't read—" "I remember them." He winked at his pair of crows as they chuckled back. "And I'll tell you how, young Katie Wells. I sing 'em." "Sing 'em?" Katie stared at him. "Sing spells?" "It's easy once you're used to it. Just think up a good tune and put the words to it." Mr. Mears scowled at the school roof for a moment. "You know, it's funny. I can't recite any poetry thingies, but I can remember every song I've ever sung. You sing that spell, Katie, and we'll see what the dragon says to that." Katie sniffed. "When he hears my voice, he'll probably burn me to a crisp." At 3 o'clock the girls jiggled into pairs behind Mrs. Batsleer's dinosaur, for once too scared to play around or even talk. Fingers crossed, necks hung with as many good luck charms as they could carry, the girls said goodbye to the other teachers and set off through the town center, a blue uniformed caterpillar. The people pushed out of their houses to watch or pressed their faces to office windows. No one was sure whether to wave and smile or not. It was so serious. The dragon might decide that they were at supper and not wait to hear the spell. Along the canal path, through the 1,000-year-old wood where Mrs. Batsleer cut mistletoe, up the hill to the black triangle of the cave mouth. Mrs. Batsleer lined the girls up in the order of their last spelling test, the best first, so that the dragon didn't eat the bad spellers for nothing. She would have tried herself, but the rules said only a girl between 10 and 13 could charm a dragon. Mrs. Batsleer turned the dinosaur towards the waiting girls and smiled down on them. "Now, one by one, in you go, Janice." Janice Parker cringed. "Yes, Miss Batsleer." She crept into the darkness. 5 minutes later, Janice crept back out, her straw hat swirling in soot flakes like a halo. "It didn't work," she said, and sat on the grass. No. Well, if at first you don't succeed. Mrs. Batsleer shrugged. Next. Her dinosaur's tail lassoed the girl before she could run away and pulled her back. Mrs. Batsleer showed her teeth. In you go, Lucy. Try smiling at him. 5 minutes. I smiled. Lucy opened her mouth and bared soot-black gums. I don't think he liked it. The sound of a tired dragon losing its temper got louder as each girl crawled through the low crack in the rock. In the end, the girls had to yell the words at the top of their voices, and the dragon's snarls made the rock shudder. By the time I get in, it'll be deaf, Katie moaned. I can't even remember the tune. I'm so scared. Well, Mrs. Batsleer peered down from her dinosaur. No one else was unsuited except Katie Wells, and her mouth twisted with worry. The other girls blinked up at her from the grass like a line of toasted crumpets. Finally, she cleared her throat. Well, we didn't do all that well, did we, girls? Katherine, do you still want to try? Yes, Mrs. Batsleer. Good girl. Very good girl. Mrs. Batsleer cleared her throat again. In you go, then, and good luck. Luck. A 50-girl sigh, gritty with singed school uniforms, followed Katie into the black tunnel. The low roof meant she had to lie on her stomach and wriggle over the crunch of soot and cinder. Dragon caves ponged. Or maybe cave dragons ponged. Katie slid on a shoe that one of the other girls had left behind, the leather furred with ashes. Then something harumphed. At the far end of the dark hole sat a very angry dragon, nostrils snorting sparks, tail twitching against the rock. It was a fine animal, green-scaled with a short beard under its chin and red burning eyes. Its 5-clawed feet glinted pure gold when they crunched the stones. Then the dragon saw her and muttered something unfriendly. I'm sorry, but I'm the last one. The dragon blew green fire through its nostrils, stubbornly refusing to listen. All right then, be like that, but I'm still going to try. Katie closed her eyes and croaked into song. The words of the spell echoed around the cave to the tune of There's a Worm at the Bottom of My Garden, because it was the only song that fitted. 10 verses, Katie's fingers locked under her chin, eyes aching to open and peek. Every time she breathed in, she tasted soot. Silence. Katie slowly opened her eyes and squinted into the darkness. The dragon had gone. It's not fair. She swallowed and had to cough and spit soot. It isn't. He could have stayed and listened. Who told you to sing? The dragon asked. Katie's voice died. Nose to nose with her, the dragon gave a smoky harumph, like Mr. Mears. None of the others did. It plodded back to its nest of branches and burrowed into them, muttering, like twittering birds, and they all missed the bit about the great cold and the great fire. I like that bit best. Katie spluttered. Do you? The dragon's long mouth curled nastily. Want some fire, then? Please. Katie tried not to sound desperate in case it was playing with her. She did not trust that curly mouth. It's for the town, to stop their luck running out. Oh, hen piddle! The dragon snorted a cotton ball of smoke. Superstitious twaddle! Luck from a dragon's fire! You might as well get gold from a turnip. But it must be true. Katie slumped back against the wall. The little girl brought the fire, and the fire brought the luck. Oh, hen piddle! The dragon made itself comfortable. But I suppose that's what people want, something they can see with their own eyes. It's you who has the luck, you know. Me? Katie goggled. Got luck? The dragon nodded. Like she had, all those years ago. But she was only a skinny little girl like you. She couldn't even read, and no one would have believed her if she'd said she could give them luck. So she gave them dragon's fire, and they believed that. As soon as the fire blew out, they stopped believing." It scratched behind its left ear with one claw. "Funny, you both singing the spell." Katy smiled, thinking about that little girl 100 years ago. A little girl who could not read, like Katy now. "No, it's not funny. It's because that's how we remembered the words. She was dyslexic like me. I know she was. Thank you for the fire." She looked at the red eyes. "If you haven't changed your mind." She took her sock off and the dragon harumphed. "Just as long as you don't make a habit of it." He looked at her rudely, hot eyes running from her sooty hair to her ash-dusted shoes. "No, I don't suppose they'll believe you've got luck either. You're another skinny little girl. But we'll know, won't we?" He breathed a small green flame into the bottom of the sock, then watched Katy slither away. When she was almost invisible, he sniffed. "How did that song go?" Mrs. Batsleer's dinosaur plunged wildly as a roaring, gargling howl echoed from the cave, like a concrete mixer eating a tree. "What's that?" She clung to the dinosaur's neck. "Katy, did you get the fire? What on earth's that dragon doing in there?" Katy tied a knot in the top of her sock to stop the fire going out, and grinned. "He's just singing." And she started to walk back towards the town, the sock tucked into her skirt pocket, singing, "There's a worm at the bottom of my garden, and his name is Wiggly Woo." She would sing all of her spells from now on, and be a good witch, and give the town all the luck it needed. And suddenly she knew no one was going to think she was stupid anymore, just because she couldn't read. From now on she would tell them, "I'm not stupid." She had brought the dragon's fire, and she had luck inside her, and what was inside her was what counted. Dragons knew that. Only people could not understand.